Hello everyone, this is Meditation and Mindfulness, Chapter 10 Highlights. So here we go. Okay, so what is meditation? Meditation is a mental exercise that affects bodily processes. So our mind has the power to cause physical, muscular relaxation. Meditation is grounded in Eastern cultures. The picture of this gentleman on the slide, this is Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, and he was an Indian guru known for developing the transcendental meditation technique and for being the leader and guru of a worldwide organization. This organization has been characterized in multiple ways, including as being a new religious movement as well as a non-religious movement. So meditation usually involves the practice of using a mantra. We'll get to what a mantra is in a moment. And meditation is usually practiced anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes a day while sitting comfortably with one's eyes closed. So the purpose of meditation is to gain control over your attention. So you want to learn how to control your focus instead of being controlled by differing objects of focus. And there are two different techniques. The first is focusing attention. So for this type of meditation, you are focusing your attention on something. You want to focus on a figure. You can focus on anything except focusing on the ground. It's ideal if the figure is static, so something that's completely still, or something that's repetitive, and I'll give you an example of that in a moment. This is going to be much easier for someone that is very new to meditation. Our second technique is opening up attention. This is going to be much more difficult. This requires a non-judgmental attitude where you are going to be blending the figure and the ground together, and all stimuli, whether it's the stimuli is internal or external, you're absorbing all of that stimuli. And again, this is very, very difficult. So I recommend starting off with focusing your attention on something. So when we're focusing our attention, these are a few different objects of focus that you can focus on. So the first is something called a mandala, or a geometric figure. Mandalas come in many different shapes, forms, colors. This is just an example of one of them. We have something called a nadam. Nadam is an imagined sound, and usually we imagine some sort of relaxing sound, whether it's the waves crashing on the beach, maybe the wind rustling through the leaves, the rain tapping on the windowsill, or the sound of a waterfall. We can also focus on a mantra. This is a word or a phrase. The most common mantra I'm sure most of us are familiar with is Om. So saying the word Om while we are meditating. You don't necessarily have to say the word Om while you're meditating. If you are someone that is religious, you may also repeat a short prayer during meditation as well. And then we have something called a Khan. This is an unanswerable or illogical riddle, something that we can't solve. So something like, can you spell the sound of a sniff? Or what is the sound of one hand clapping? Things that, kind of leave us pondering and wondering, something that we can't answer. So these are the different things that we can focus on during meditation. And remember what I said previously about an object that is repetitive? So any of you remember these clocks? The cat's eyes and the tail kind of move back and forth together, and this would be a really good example of a repetitive object, of something that moves in the same movements over and over that you could follow during meditation. Okay, still talking about different objects of focus, we can focus on the breath. So we have something called a pranayama. Pranayama is a Hindu practice that involves breathing as the object of focus during meditation. This is a very specific breathing technique called alternate nostril breathing. As you can see the gentleman in the photo, he is using his finger to cover one of his nostrils. So he's going to be inhaling and exhaling through that nostril and alternating his breathing between his two nostrils. Alternate nostril breathing has been shown to decrease levels of anxiety and improve feelings of well-being. And then something called an anapanasati. This is a Zen practice that involves counting the breaths as the object of focus during the meditation. So we can count the inhales, or we can count the inhale and exhale together as one. That's completely up to you, but just as long as we are counting our breaths. Some of the amazing benefits of meditation, so physiologically, it will decrease our respiration rate, it will decrease our resting heart rate, it'll decrease our muscular tension and decrease our blood pressure. Psychologically, it can help us decrease our anxiety, improve our sleep quality, and increase our attention overall. This is actually something that's very, very excellent for, before you start a lecture or before you go to class, just sitting really quietly and meditating for a couple of minutes. You might find that if you practice this on a regular basis, that your attention during class is going to be much better compared to before when you didn't meditate prior to class. Okay. So talking about the 4 components for the relaxation response. So not only is this specific to meditation, this is specific to all relaxation techniques. These are the things that we need in order to initiate that relaxation response. So the first is a quiet environment. So we want to find a place where we have minimal distractions. We don't have friends or family bothering us. We want to make sure that we turn off our cell phone, or at least put it on silent. If we have music on in the background or some noise on in the background, making sure that it's white noise or some very soft, relaxing music. The second thing that we need is that we need a mental device. We either need a mantra, something to repeat over and over to ourselves. Diaphragmatic breathing is excellent, or you can even do both. If you're having trouble with that mantra and diaphragmatic breathing together, just pick one, and I recommend focusing on the breath first. The third thing is a passive attitude, or a receptive attitude, allowing all of your thoughts to come in through your mind and just letting them pass gently. You're not overly fixating on them. You're not trying to block them. You're just letting things come through. And then finally, you need to find a comfortable position. So ideally, you're in a seated position with no muscular tension. You want to let your muscles relax as best as they can. Don't try to relax, because trying is work, not relaxation. So a few suggestions for meditation. The best time to meditate is right after you wake up. I know that sounds really weird, but trust me. The best time to meditate is right after you wake up or right before dinner. You don't ever want to meditate after a big meal. Because then we have all of our blood flow that's kind of going to our digestive system, that's kind of, breaking down all of our food, working to do that. So we want to make sure that we don't have any blood flow going to any other part of our body. We want to make sure that we can focus on that meditation, that mindfulness experience in order for overall total body relaxation. We want to avoid any caffeine or stimulants because those are sympathomimetics, and that is going to stimulate our stress response. We also want to avoid using an alarm clock because when we use an alarm clock, that's going to stimulate us as well. It might even kind of scare us, which will cause a stress response. So if you are going to use some sort of device, some sort of alarm, I recommend finding something that is very soft, or maybe even something like a ringing of a bell or a gong. We want to avoid rushing, because individuals that end up rushing end up breathing more quickly, more rapidly than others, and they also tend to fidget a lot, which is going to take away from the overall meditation experience. So, want to avoid rushing. Let's try to meditate during a time where we know that we have enough time to dedicate to this meditation experience. And then finally, we want to avoid any cell phone disruptions, because again, that's going to stimulate our stress response, might kind of scare us. So try to put that cell phone on silent. All right, then moving on to mindfulness. So mindfulness is the ability to stay in the present moment with an open mind and non-judgmental attitude about thoughts, feelings, emotions, or the present. So mindfulness is the basic human ability to be fully present, aware of where we are and what we're doing, and not overly reactive or overwhelmed by what is going on around us. A few other definitions of mindfulness are, paying attention in the present moment, being fully aware of what is going on around us in this present moment. And we want to be really careful that we're not living our life on autopilot, that we're not just habitually responding to something. So, have any of you ever experienced your life on autopilot? Have you ever been driving anywhere and you get into your car and then, 20 to 30 minutes later, you find yourself at home, but you have no idea how you got there? You just kind of blanked out or phased out for the entire ride until you drove up to your driveway. Or, have you ever just habitually responded? You're just kind of going through the motions and you're not really stopping and thinking about what you're actually doing. Or some of us, tend to eat mindlessly. We're not really paying attention to when we eat. Usually there's some sort of device, a television, a cell phone, a computer, a tablet in front of us, and we're just kind of mindlessly eating. We're just chewing and swallowing, and we're not paying attention to the food that we're actually putting into our mouths. So it's really important that we break the cycle. We must learn to be mindful. Let's start right now. So I'm going to take you to this website, and we're going to do a really quick 3-minute mindfulness meditation exercise. So I want you to try to find a comfortable position wherever you are. And we're going to start this 3-minute body scan meditation. Here we go.
This practice brought to you by Mindful. This practice brought to you by Mindful, helping millions of readers and listeners find peace, build focus, tame anxiety, and build a future based on kindness and compassion. Join us at mindful.org/newsletter.
Begin by bringing your attention into your body. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable to you. You can notice your body seated, wherever you're seated, feeling the weight of your body on the chair, on the floor. You can take a few deep breaths. And as you take a deep breath, bring in more oxygen, enlivening the body. And as you exhale, have a sense of relaxing more deeply. You can notice your feet on the floor. Notice the sensations of your feet touching the floor, the weight and pressure, vibration, heat. You can notice your legs against the chair. pressure, pulsing, heaviness, lightness. Notice your back against the chair. Bring your attention into your stomach area. If your stomach is tense or tight, let it soften. Take a breath. Notice your hands. Are your hands tense or tight? See if you can allow them to soften. Notice your arms. Feel any sensations in your arms. Let your shoulders be soft. Notice your neck and throat. Let them be soft. Relax. Soften your jaw. Let your face and facial muscles be soft. Then notice your whole body present. Take one more breath. Be aware of your whole body as best you can. Take a breath, and then when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Okay, so that was a really quick 3-minute body scan mindfulness meditation exercise. I've included a few mindfulness meditation resources on this slide. So mindful.org, that's exactly where we were for this 3-minute exercise. The University of California, San Diego, so UC San Diego, their medical school has a lot of excellent mindfulness research and resources. Freemindfulness.org has a lot of excellent audio downloads that you can use. And then we have UCLA Health. They have a handful of fantastic mindfulness meditations. And if you're looking for a really excellent app, there's an app called Headspace that is just focused entirely on meditation. All right, that was chapter 10, mindfulness and meditation.